a group of LGBTI refugees in the Kakuma camp, calling themselves Block 13, say they've been attacked in a series of hate crimes over the past few months. The camp set up by the UN High Commissioner for Refugees hosts a number of foreign nationals from neighbouring countries such as Uganda, South Sudan, those who fled from their countries of origin. Now, the LGBTQI members say that despite reporting these brutal attacks to authorities, there aren't enough efforts to have them safeguarded. We're now joined by Fetso Kebenge, a refugee from Uganda, as well as Phumi Mtwetwa, a South African regional director for an organization called Just Associates. Very good morning to you, and thank you so much for your time. This is a rather, controversial matter, complex in its nature. Phumi, I'd like to start with you and just give us a sense of what is happening here and the role that you're playing.
Thank you, Mpo, and thanks for having us. I think to characterize it firstly as controversial is one of the reasons what feeds the homophobia and the transphobia that we see across the continent. And so here we are faced with a situation of people who are fleeing their homelands, their homes, because of violence, and they seek refuge in other countries, and in this particular case, like you said, in Kenya. And in seeking refuge, they are faced with the same type of violence that they have fled from, and possibly the worst kind, like we have seen 3 incidents of people being burnt, situations of lesbians being raped inside the camp. And the worst part of all is that the authorities, the UN agency in charge of refugees, as well as the Kenyan government, often throwing a blind eye against the atrocities that are happening. And because of the type of advocacy and mobilization that we have helped to support the people in Block 13, now there are some responses, but the responses are coming back in a way that actually also feeds and spreads misinformation, because the justifications around what is happening in Kakuma camp are problematic. To take the UNHCR 3 days to respond to people's lives who are in threat because they have been burnt is a problem, because we know that the effects of the comrades who were burnt are going to be everlasting. If not, we're fearing the worst at the moment. But also, just if I may add, just one more thing, if I may add, the importance of organizations in the world is extremely important, because the voices of everyone who can stand against any harm on any person, regardless of their nationality, regardless of their sexual orientation or gender identity, is paramount in this moment.
Absolutely. Let's just get Fetso Kebenge in. Fetso, good morning to you. Thanks for joining us. Let's talk about the kind of toll, emotional, physical, and psychological impact that all of this is having on you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Kebenge Fetso. I'm a gay. I don't know where to start from, but I'll do my best with my brother.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. I'm Umar Samanda, and my pronouns are he, his, and him.
Thank you. Kakuma camp. I never knew that there is hell on earth until when I was brought into the camp. Here, ever since I've made here a year, because I came here in March last year. It was around 17th of March, and then I'm 1 year now, but life has been totally horrible for the LGBTI. Life has been totally ever since we came into the community, we've been receiving attacks from different nationals, the natives, the Turkana people, they're Kenyans, the South Sudanese, Congolese, the Burundians, Somalis, because all they say, homosexuality is a curse. being a gay, being a lesbian, you're a curse. You're a curse on planet Earth. So whenever they could meet us, whenever they could find us on the way, they could say, you won't survive here. There is a lot of trauma that's going in our lives, because even though you go at the shop, you try to buy something, someone can't touch your money because you've already touched it. And guess what he does? He or she does. He just tells you, please put the money here. You press it there, and then it gets like a poison bag or a piece of cloth, and it picks it because you've touched it, because you're gay, because you're lesbian, because you're trans, you know. When you go to fetch water, it's a fight for us to get water. It's a fight to get water. When it comes to food, we are being discriminated. But just because there is a heaven sent that came to us, is called Victim Kasa, accompanied with Phumi, they are always there for us. They created a GoFundMe page that supports us in the camp, so that it caters for our food and other necessities, you know, medication, you know. So if we go further, the attacks we've been receiving, the police itself, we've been reporting every case to the police. The police, it's homophobic. Once you report your case to the police, they will only tell you, we'll make investigations. We'll make investigation. Up to now. Because they also hate us. They're homophobic. They're Kenyans. And another thing, when you go and report a case, I remember they told my brother Omar, and actually they also told me, and they told also my sister, Lucretia, John, that you're in the camp by mistake. It's just because the UNHCR brought you here. But if it was not the UNHCR, you are going into jail. You were going into jail 14 years, and that's the penalty for Kenyans. 14 years because you're homosexuals. You know, once we had those statements, we knew that we are in the wrong place. Yet we came from Uganda to Kenya. We knew that things would be safe here. Life would be safe here because we were running from persecution, you know. And when you make a call on the helpline for the UNHCR, all they say, we'll do something. The police is still making investigations, you know.
I'd like to ask you to just hold some of your thoughts there as you speak, Fetso, as we try and get some of the impact from Samanda. Samanda, thank you so much for being with us on this panel. Let's talk about your experiences. We've just listened to Fetso speak about the horrors and the really, really terrible conditions there. What have you experienced as a transgender person?
Actually, I would like to correct you. I'm not a transgender. It's my sister over there. But actually, me myself, I'm a victim. I've survived death 3 times. If you look in my face, that's a scar for panga. In the machetes, I have scars all over my body. I've been beaten like several times, and they almost thought I was dead because the last time I was beaten, again we had accompanied our sister to hospital. She was sick, and then on our way coming back from clinic, because we always access private clinics, because we can't use UNHCR hospitals because we are being discriminated. They don't like us. The doctors hate us. So when you go there and then you speak English, they say, you guys, you think you come here with your English, and then we help you. You are gay, you know. They do all of the bad things. And so that last time, I'll talk about that last time. So everyone thought that I'm dead because I was badly beaten, and I don't know, I collapsed because they cut me, and I almost ended up dead because I felt like I'm not like feeling myself. I had the whole of my body had paralyzed, and it was very terrible, and
It's
I lost a lot of blood. Yes.
It
So
really is shocking. Samanda, thank you for detailing your horrors. John, as a transgender person, talk to us about what you've experienced.
Yes, nice having you all here. This is John Lucretia, a trans girl in Kakuma camp. Briefly, I would like to inform the world of the atrocities that LGBTI people, the trans girls, the trans people are passing through the Kakuma camp. Despite the fact that some people, and especially the UNHCR wants to cover all this, they don't want the truth to come out to the community. A trans girl in Kakuma camp means being undressed when you're moving around. When you move around, I've got several instances where I'm always being undressed. Just I'm here putting on like this. Someone comes and undresses you. I've got several instances where I am cut, just like this. This is a scar, and this is my most recent attack that I've got here in the chest. Being a trans girl in the camp means being raped wherever you're seen, means being sexually abused, sexually harassed. Being a trans girl in Kakuma camp means being humiliated. It means getting the most poorest services in the camp, because in the hospitals, in the security personnel, everywhere, even in some offices in UNHCR, we are getting very poor services just because of being who you are. Being a trans girl in Kakuma camp means being threatened at a daily basis. We have got several instances where we are being threatened to be burnt alive. And actually, you're being threatened to be burnt alive, and just after some few months, someone comes and burns your life, like how it was some few days ago this week. We were burnt alive, and that's the most recent attack that we have just got, where which resulted into two of our comrades, two of our brothers now having referred to Nairobi for serious burns, wounds.
My goodness.
The place you're
really,
seeing
really
in my
horrific,
backwards.
Attacks here that we're learning of. Thank you so much, John, Samanda, as well as you, Fetso, for sharing your experiences. I really wish you all the strength in the world. Phumi, in closing, we've really listened in here to the terrible crimes, attacks, rapes, intimidation, and assault. Really, really horrible things to be done on any person. How has the UN responded, and what sort of intervention is coming?
That's an important, and I'm glad that you framed the question as the UN. Of course, the camp is the responsibility of the UNHCR, but I think it is very important, and this is what we have been calling for on all the UN agencies, the UN as an institution, to actually respond, whether it's the special rapporteur on human rights defenders, the special rapporteur on sexual orientation and gender identity. It is paramount that this is seen as an issue that doesn't just affect the UNHCR, but that the UNHCR has a duty and an obligation to lead the response. And first and paramount, of course, is to ensure evacuation. That is the big thing. Evacuate LGBTIs that are in the camp. And whilst that is happening, we are calling on the safety and protection of everyone. We wouldn't like a situation where we are fueling xenophobia or Afrophobia, but this is exactly what it's leading us to. You know, we want a situation where the safety and protection of people who are seeking refuge is put at the utmost first priority, and to ensure that evacuation is sort of, and that there are no blockages by any government, including the Kenyan government, in actually enabling refugees to be evacuated.
Wow, very well. Thank you so much for your time. Unfortunately, we are out of time. Thank you for sharing the story with us. Speaking there, as we wrap off, to Phumi Mtwetwa, for a Jazz Southern African Regional Director, who is trying to assist those LGBTI groups being attacked at the Kakuma refugee camp, calling for the UN to intervene. Also on the line there, we heard from Fetso Kebenge, a refugee from Uganda, with his friend and fellow refugees Seyobo John and Semanda Omar, as, of course, we wrap up this conversation. Let's